No, 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 Twilight started chanting. No, 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 no. It became, as Discord floated closer. Relax, Twilight, Discord whispered in her ear. It might even be a little fun. Discord licked Twilight's ear and started to lick her body as he lowered his head. He licked Twilight's chest and then her stomach and her thighs. Twilight squirmed and began to sweat for fear what was going to happen. Discord then lapped his tongue across her clitoris, which made Twilight squirm uncomfortably. The sensation was sickening. Being touched like that by something so vile was more than Twilight could bear. The other four ponies watched in shock as Discord started to lick the juices from the involuntary squirted form of Twilight's. You already know what. He said, tangy. I think you're ready now, Twilight. Ready for what? She asked, playing dumb. For my cock! Discord shouted with glee, and he grabbed Twilight's shoulders and shoved her to the floor, pinning her against the cold stone, and he skillfully thrusted his penis into her crotch, breaking her raiment and stretching her open painfully. Blood swept from out of Discord's rock-hard appendage, thrusting back and forth within her. Twilight was crying as she tightened, and her thrust hole broke, pumping waves of sexual breath through her body. Twilight's mind went blank as she had an orgasm, and Discord's semen pumped into her. Exhaustion, Twilight collapsed on the floor, crying and hating herself for getting involved in this mess. She didn't have much time to think, though, as Discord slammed her into the floor and spread her legs. Then he penetrated Twilight's anus and pumped his member into as powerful as he could. Twilight could feel her anus ripping open and blood starting to pour out. Discord thrusted angrily, not caring that his penis was being coated with Twilight's fecal matter. What? Once he had ejaculated, he pulled out, ripping some of Scootaloo's legs off her dead body and thrusting them into Twilight's wretched anus. He shoved the limb into her as far as he could go. Twilight vomited from the dizziness pain she was experiencing. Discord grabbed her head and shoved it into the vomit. Twilight's mouth had been open, screaming from pain, so she could taste her own fluids as her head rubbed against them. The other ponies had long since turned away, but the sound of Discord's thrusting and Twilight's pain were unbearable. Applejack threw up again, and then she heard Twilight retch. Twilight thought she was going to pass out, but Mare stayed away. As she felt her anus burning in pain from Discord's treatment. Finally, the bloody, crap-covered appendage was removed, but the relief was not would not last. Discord picked up the saw he had used to cut off her and shoved it into Twilight's now ruined anus. Twilight screamed from the stone walls as Discord sawed its way through her. Her eyes rolled into the back of her head, and she finally passed out. And then Discord pulled the saw out of her anus and darted the saw hung body in half. Rainbow Dash awoke, saw Twilight's innards slowly starting to poke out through the gash in her body, and passed out again. Discord laughed as he stopped sawing at Twilight's body. He levitated over a drill and started to drill into her skull, wrenching it open as he worked. Rarity peeked over in horror, but quickly turned away as she felt extreme nausea at what she was watching. Pinkie Pie merely stared in horror, trembling at the ghastly depression of Twilight's corpse. Finally, Discord pulled at the brain with the skull and rested on. Blue body fluid splattered all over the room. He tossed the brain like a basketball to his paw, eyeing the ponies who had shut their eyes, too fearful to look at what was calling the smell for corpses in the corner. Rainbow Dash had since awoken, and despite the throbbing pain in her tongue, remained conscious. So now I have Twilight's brain, Discord said, and by the end of the night, I'll have the best party parts of all you ponies. Now who's next? I think I'll let the ponies decide. That's crazy, Applejack exclaimed. Do I hear a volunteer? Discord asked. Applejack shook her head fervently. The other ponies remained silent, trembling with disgust and trying not to look at the 4 corpses on the ground. Discord waited eagerly for some pony to shout out a name. Well, don't all jump out at once, he said snidely. Rarity, trembling and teary-eyed, finally decided to take a stand. I'll do it, she said. The other ponies gasped. Don't let him get to you, Rarity, Applejack cried. Yeah, we don't want you to die, Pingasai said through her tears. It doesn't matter, does it? He's just going to get us all. I don't want to suffer anymore, and I don't want to see the rest of you suffer. So this is how I am to die. Then I must do this. What do you want with me, Discord? Discord leered at Rarity and answered, Your hide. Discord then shot a burst at Rarity and made her start to vibrate. Confused, Rarity wondered what was going on, but with her withered and she felt the skin literally tear itself from her muscles. Slowly and painfully it came off, the magic rendering her hide from her body. Rarity screamed as fiery pain shot through her entire body, rocketing across the room as she began to feel dizzy. The other pony started in shock when suddenly the entire hide ripped itself right off Rarity to reveal her skeletal muscular frame. Discord dropped Rarity out to the floor, and the impact wedge made her side burn with fresh new pain. Writhing on the floor, Rarity felt her nerves set afire, and her body squelched as Discord kicked it with his hoof. Rarity only lasted a short while longer as Discord beat her unrecognizable frame. She died covered in blood that freely showed from the veins Discord had punctured with his leg. The 4 surviving ponies all vomited as they watched Rarity's dismemberment. Not so beautiful now, is she? Discord asked. He turned then her corpse. What? Would ask, unable to form a word completely with the removal of her tongue. I said do her corpse, Discord said. Do you want me to remove your snout for you too? Rainbow Dash shook her head. And get to work, he said. Dropping Rainbow Dash to the ground, Rainbow Dash hesitantly, but Discord picking her up the bloody crab-covered saw and pointed it threatening at Rainbow Dash. She gulped, still tasting the blood flowing from her mouth and sidling next to it. The hot blood and the muscles made her squirm as she touched them. She had never felt or smelled something so unpleasant in her life. She started then to hump her half-heartedly, feeling ready to vomit at the mention of Rarity's muscles pushed against her hide. You need to put a little more enthusiasm in it than that, Rainbow Dash. You go it, Alcott, Rainbow Dash said. I'm sorry, but I can't understand you, Discord said. Now, do her hard. Rainbow Dash, crying, humped Rarity more aggressively, but hated and disgusting feeling in her muscles against her just as she had enough. Discord swooped with a large knife and one clean severed Rainbow Dash's wings. Rainbow Dash hollered in pain as blood splurted from the holes in where her wings had just been. Discord kicked Rainbow Dash and she collapsed onto the ground. How does it feel to be grounded, Dashy? Discord asked, sticking his talons into the holes of Rainbow and twisting them. He took the knife and stabbed her in the throat, killing her instantly. It was Fluttershy's turn to vomit as the blood splurted from the knife wound. Discord returned to the saw in his paw, decapitating Rainbow Dash and doing her neck hole. He threw Rainbow Dash's head into the vomit and brain fluid mixture and slit as all of it, and he did Rainbow Dash's headless corpse. He let down Applejack from the barrier.